On a dark stretch of road beneath a highway overpass, a group of occultists have gathered in a circle to conduct a ritual. Their leader, an elderly man, works through the steps required to summon Ahriman, the Prince of Hell. The ceremony is nearly complete when a gang of heavily armed bikers descends on the scene. Their leader, a man called Roach, raises his crossbow and fires a bolt into the old man. The cult leader collapses into the fire. The gang moves through the rest of the group with knives and axes, cutting down the occultists one by one. When the violence ends and the gang is celebrating, Roach is startled by one last figure falling from a bike and fires reflexively. The bolt punches through the fuel tank of a nearby motorcycle. The gang leaves, satisfied. They do not notice the cult leader stirring behind them, his face distorted, his body barely functional. He drags himself to his fallen companions, all of them dead. He finds the motorcycle with the damaged tank, lifts the fuel cap, and pours his own blood inside. His body drops to the ground. Ahriman's spirit transfers into the bike, which pulses and hums with a new and deeply unpleasant kind of life. The next morning, a delivery man named Noddy visits a motorcycle shop. The owner has an old Commando Norton for sale at $1,500. Noddy offers $1,100, pointing out the damaged tank as a reason to negotiate. The owner agrees. Noddy says he will collect it at the end of the day. He goes back to work, meets his girlfriend Kim at the delivery service they both work for, and tells her he'll see her that evening after picking up the bike. He mentions the price. He tells her $600. Later, he and his friend Buzzer collect the bike in a van. At Kim's house, Buzzer spots the fuel cap and pockets it when no one is watching. When the couple arrives and everyone heads to the garage, Noddy attempts to start the bike. Nothing happens. Buzzer investigates and finds the fault, fixes it, and manages to get the engine running. But in the process, he cuts his hand and a few drops of blood splash onto the engine. They do not notice what this means yet. The next day, the couple leave the bike in the workshop and head to work. Before they go, they notice the fuel cap is back on the motorcycle. Neither of them put it there. At work, Kim receives a call from the police. Buzzer has been in some kind of terrible accident at his home. Noddy drives to the address and learns from a neighbor that someone broke in during the night. A police officer brings him inside. The place is destroyed, blood across every surface, deep tire marks gouged into the walls. Inspector Cleaver, who is investigating the scene, shows Noddy what is left of Buzzer. The head has been removed. The inspector asks a few questions and says he will be in touch. Noddy agrees and removes himself from the situation as quickly as possible, partly because of the horror and partly because the inspector's breath carries an overwhelming smell of garlic that makes the air around him almost unbreathable. Hours later, Noddy finishes fitting a replacement tank and the bike is ready. Kim comes to the garage, still shaken by Buzzer's death. Noddy is less affected than she expects. He puts on his helmet and takes the bike out for a run through the night. The road is quiet. Then the gang appears ahead of him. The same bikers from the ritual scene. The possessed motorcycle recognizes them instantly. Without any input from Noddy, it accelerates hard, overtakes the group, and begins pushing them off the road one by one, using the front wheel to clip each bike and send it spinning. Noddy grips the handlebars and holds on, completely unable to steer or brake. When the road clears, he manages to slow down. The bikers are down the road behind him, shouting that they will be coming for him. He goes home shaken. Inspector Cleaver shows up soon after with Buzzer's belongings. The garlic breath fills the hallway again. Noddy says he knows nothing new. The inspector leaves the bag and goes. Noddy opens the bag. Inside is Buzzer's severed head, staring up at him. He screams. He wakes up. It was a nightmare. The bag is ordinary, and the head is not there. He lies back down and stares at the ceiling. The next morning, he cannot find the motorcycle. He parked it on the street, and it is gone. Kim helps him check the garage. It is there. She assumes he forgot where he left it. Noddy tries to start it, and it refuses to respond. It seems almost reluctant to move in the daylight. When they take it physically out of the dark space, it starts. He realizes only later that it started because the sun had gone down. He and Kim take the bike to a bar that evening. The biker gang is already there. Roach spots the motorcycle from across the room. He recognizes the machine from the road and decides to settle the matter. He fires a crossbow bolt at Noddy as a greeting. Noddy ignores this and heads to the pool table with Kim. Roach sends one of his men, a large figure named Copper, to make the confrontation more direct. Copper approaches Kim and begins making unwelcome advances. She tells him to walk away. He raises his axe and drives it into the pool table. The blade buries itself in the wood and sticks there. While Copper struggles to pull it free, Naughty swings the pool cue and connects cleanly with his face. Copper goes sideways. Roach grabs a cue of his own and charges at Naughty, swinging hard. Naughty parries the blow with his own cue, absorbing the impact and redirecting Roach to one side. The whole bar descends into chaos, and the fight spills through into an adjoining room lined with display armor and medieval weapons. Roach grabs a sword from the wall display. Naughty grabs another. The two of them climb onto a long table in the center of the room and begin exchanging strikes. Roach driving hard overhead swings, Naughty parrying and backing up along the length of the table, buying time. He shoves Roach off the table, tells Kim to get the motorcycle, and takes a different route through the bar. He picks up 2 more swords on the way. Cornered on the staircase by several gang members at once, he uses the narrowness of the space to his advantage. They can only come at him 2 at a time, and he uses both blades to sweep them off the steps one after another, driving them back down with their own momentum. He jumps from a window, drops into a wheelie bin, climbs out, and finds Kim already on the bike. They leave at speed. An arrow from Roach's crossbow catches Naughty in the arm as they go. He pulls it out when they stop and does not mention it. They decide to get takeaway. While Naughty is ordering, Kim asks him to add extra garlic prawns. The motorcycle, sitting outside, reacts to the word garlic. Without Kim on the seat, it revs itself and launches forward. Kim comes out at the sound of the engine and realizes the bike is moving on its own. She runs after it. The motorcycle leads her down an alley, accelerates to full speed, circles back, and drives straight at her. She presses against the wall with nowhere to go. The front wheel bears down on her. Then it stops. Her necklace carries a crucifix, and the bike's headlight fixes on it. The motorcycle veers away and disappears back toward the bar. At the bar, the gang is still recovering from the fight. Roach sends Copper outside when he hears a motorcycle engine. Copper finds his own bike destroyed. The possessed motorcycle has already been through the car park. Furious, he swings a leg over the demonic machine, apparently under the impression he can ride it wherever he likes. The motorcycle has other ideas. Midway down the road, Copper registers that the handlebars are moving by themselves and the bike is choosing its own direction. Then, long metal spikes push out from the frame on both sides and drive into his legs. He screams. The motorcycle accelerates toward an iron railing, and Copper's body is removed from the equation entirely. The rest of the gang comes out to the road and rides together. The possessed motorcycle appears behind them. It hunts them across the tarmac one by one, balancing on the rear wheel, using a spinning harpoon mechanism in the front to decapitate each rider in sequence. The road empties. Only Roach is left. He looks behind him at the bodies of his entire gang. He raises his crossbow and fires. The bolt strikes the headlight. The motorcycle recovers and hurls a metal dart at him, hitting him in a very unfortunate location. Roach is about to receive the final blow when the bike's path takes it past a road sign, a circular stop symbol that resembles a cross. The motorcycle turns away and heads elsewhere. Naughty comes home without his bike and without Kim. A phone call brings him to the hospital where Kim is being treated. Roach arrives at the same hospital, bleeding from the dart wound, and is promptly handcuffed by Inspector Cleaver, who has been collecting the headless bodies from the road. Naughty finds his motorcycle parked in the garage the next morning, with a human leg lodged in the headlight housing. He opens the fuel cap. Instead of petrol, the tank is full of blood. He goes to a church. The priest's assistant tells him the priest is occupied in the confessional. Naughty does not want to wait and makes his urgency clear. He is taken to the confessional and explains his situation. The motorcycle appears to be a vampire. The priest does not believe him. Naughty insists he come and look. The priest agrees and follows on his own bike, which is, against expectations, a high-performance machine. At the garage, nothing looks obviously wrong. The leg is gone. The tank appears normal. The priest opens the fuel cap and leans toward it. In the dimness, he decides to push the motorcycle toward a better light. The bike engages the brake lever with enough force and precision to sever the priest's fingers from his hand. The priest goes to the hospital where Kim is recovering. He is now completely convinced. To perform an exorcism on a demon this powerful, they need to identify which entity is inside the bike. They discover it is Ahriman, one of the most formidable demons in existence. The priest equips himself and Naughty with everything applicable: holy water, crucifixes fashioned into throwing shapes, garlic, and other materials specific to this kind of confrontation. They plan to use sunlight as a primary weapon. They set off for the garage. The possessed bike senses them coming and uses its power to damage their motorcycle mid-journey. They are left waiting for a bus while the sun descends toward the horizon. They arrive at the garage in darkness. The bike is fully powered. The priest begins reciting the exorcism while holding the Bible open in one hand and a crucifix in the other. The motorcycle responds by generating strong winds that sweep through the garage, hurling tools and spare parts at both of them. A cluster of screwdrivers drives through the priest's palms. A coil of wire wraps around his head in a shape that resembles a crown of thorns. The motorcycle appears to be performing a deliberate mockery. The priest, bleeding from both hands, keeps reciting. The bike begins to weaken. The priest steps forward and splashes holy water across it. The drops eat through the tank. Long iron spears push out from the bodywork in response, and the motorcycle drives through the garage door and out into the street. Noddy and the priest seal the door behind them using a wooden crucifix wedged across the frame and go for help. Noddy steals a police officer's motorcycle and takes to the road. The possessed bike spots him and gives chase. 2 officers in a car spot the pursuit and join in. 3 vehicles tearing through the city, the demonic motorcycle gradually outpacing everyone. It peels away and heads for the hospital. In Kim's room, a nurse arrives to help her prepare for sleep. The nurse picks up the garlic Kim was given, smells it, and decides to remove it from the room. She takes the crucifix as well so she can give Kim a wash. Kim tries to rest. She hears an engine sound growing outside. Then another nurse enters with dinner, and Kim relaxes. Wrong. The motorcycle comes through the window. It drives hard at the dinner nurse, pins her against the wall, drives metal darts through her neck, and splits her across the middle with the food trolley. It then advances on Kim. Kim snatches the crucifix from the bedside table where it was left. The motorcycle sees the cross and pulls away, retreating back through the window and toward the highway. On the road outside, Roach has been released from police custody. He finds himself in the path of the motorcycle again. Panicking, he swerves off the road and crashes into a parked car. The impact launches him through the window of a funeral home. He lands in an open coffin. The lid falls closed on top of him. The motorcycle finds Noddy in the town square and accelerates directly at him. He runs for a bridge and climbs. The motorcycle pursues, but the gap in the bridge's surface catches the front wheel and the bike jams. Noddy grabs the rear of the machine, lifts, and tips it into the water below. The headlight dies. He stands at the edge of the bridge, catching his breath. Then, from beneath the surface of the water, the headlight burns red again. The motorcycle is still functional. Noddy runs. He finds Inspector Cleaver's car. Kim and the priest are already inside. Noddy is too panicked to stop and keeps running. He ends up in a gymnasium. He pushes equipment against the door and stands in the middle of the floor, breathing hard. The members of the gym look at him with reasonable confusion. The motorcycle drives through the door regardless. One member steps forward to push it back. The bike's dart mechanism pierces his hand, and the motorcycle begins chasing everyone around the room. Noddy grabs an iron rod and waits for an angle. He swings at the headlight housing, connects, and staggers the bike. He tries to use himself as bait to draw it to one corner. The motorcycle's spinning harpoon catches his leg and cuts through it. He goes down. He pulls himself toward the center of the room, leaving a trail, and when the motorcycle closes in over him, he swings the rod directly into the headlight. The bike stalls and drops sideways. Cleaver, Kim, and the priest arrive. The gymnasium staff approach the fallen motorcycle. The bike surges back to life and drives through them. Cleaver stands his ground and swings his baton at the approaching headlight. Every blow glances off. The motorcycle drives him into the wall and pins him there. Cleaver, out of options, opens his mouth and breathes directly into the headlight. The garlic cloud pushes into the bike's mechanisms, and the motorcycle recoils violently, spinning its front wheel. It shakes off the effect and drives at Noddy, who drags himself toward the wall. The bike's darts go into him. He reaches above his head in desperation, and his hand finds the switch panel. He throws everything on. Banks of ultraviolet lights flood the room. The motorcycle's bodywork begins to dissolve, the frame distorting, the metal softening, the headlight flickering erratically. Cleaver opens his mouth one more time, and the garlic breath pushes the bike directly under the lights. Noddy, Kim, and the priest raise their crucifixes together. The motorcycle melts. The headlight goes out. The engine drops to silence and stays there. In the aftermath, life returns to something approaching normal. Noddy works in his garage. He cuts his hand on a tool and wraps it in an old cloth. Kim suggests he get it looked at. They leave together. The bloody cloth hangs on the wall in the empty garage. Underneath it, tucked into the corner behind a shelf, sits the original tank from the possessed motorcycle. The blood from the cloth seeps down the wall and touches the tank. The fuel cap shudders, It lifts open on its own and pulls the cloth inside. The engine of nothing sits in the empty room and waits.